Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to my channel, Anamika's World of Science. I'm going to take you to the world of science. I'll be taking the portion, a very important portion from biology. Have to study about animals. So we'll be going to take a lecture on cell today. So before we go into the lecture, I have to say something very important. That is, you have to first like, share and subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon so that you won't miss another update from this channel. So I have to tell you one more thing. You have to comment also so that I will get whatever you have to tell me. You can communicate with me via the comments. So you have to comment so that you can tell me anything, any questions, Q&As. You can suggest for the channels, lecturings. So you have to comment it so that I can get your views as well. So let's go to the lecture. So as I tell you before, we're going to start a lecture from cell. So you may have heard this word cell. Okay. So this cell, it has many classifications. Before I went to the classification, I will tell you what is the cell. So cell is the basic building blocks of many organisms. This is a very simple definition that I can give to you. That is, the cell is the basic building blocks of many organisms. I will tell you something so that you can understand what is this. You have seen, we all have house. We are all staying in house, flats. So we have seen bricks. So what is the brick doing? The brick will be arranged to form a house, right? So this brick is equal to the cell. So this brick is equal to cell. You can imagine, you have seen the bricks, and the bricks will be arranged in a perfect way so that we will get a house, a perfect place for staying. So the basic building block of a house is bricks. So likewise, in case of a human body or for a plant body or for any other organism which is having a life, the basic building block is cell. So that's what I can say about cell. So cell is the basic building block of many organisms. This many organisms have animals. Animals are there, plants are there, microorganisms, etc. Microorganisms such as bacteria, viruses, virols, everything will be coming under the many organisms. Okay, so this is a simple definition of what is a cell. So there are many cells. There are many specialized cells inside our body. So there are about, we don't have how much cells inside the body. We can estimate the amount of cells, that is trillion. There are many trillions of cells inside a human body or inside a plant body. So there are many functions for cell. Basically, I have already told you characteristics of a cell. So it gives the structure for the body. So likewise, I have mentioned here that the bricks gives the structure for the house or a flat. Likewise, a cell will give the structure for the body. Without the cell, there is no perfect structure for an organism. So it will give structure for the body. It takes in the nutrients and convert it into energy. So in the human body, usually the energy is stored in the form of ATP, adenosine triphosphate, ATP. So we always eat food, right? We eat food to get energy. We will absorb the energy from the food. So this function is being done or is being doing by the cell. So the cell takes in the nutrients. It will absorb the nutrients and is converted in the form of ATPs or the form of energy. There are many types: ATP, ADP. There are many forms of energy. So the first function of the cell was giving the structure, while the second function of a cell was taking enough nutrients and is converting to energy. So the third one is they contain hereditary materials and will make copies. So what is a hereditary material and what is copy? It is all based on molecular biology and genetics. So it's a very mysterious branch of science. It's the genetics. So it will be coming under there. So they contain hereditary material. Hereditary material means it is a hereditary factor. Hereditary factor means it will be transferred from a generation to another generation. Probably you may have heard or been heard from your parents that you have the same character as that of your father. I will take you one example. You take a trait of hair. So your father have curly hair, your mother have straight hair, and in case this is for father and this is for mother, and when it comes to the children, they may have both the property of getting straight or the curly hair. It is we must study very detailedly, and we can study it very detailedly in the upcoming lectures. So this is the three main functions of a cell. First one is they provide a structure for the body. Second one is they take in nutrients and will convert it into the form of energy, that is ATP, and they will contain hereditary materials and they make copies. It is coming under DNA transcription. So we can detailedly study in the future lectures. So this is the first part of what is cell. The next portion. The next portion is about the discovery of cell. So we have already studied what is cell. So we should know who had discovered the cell, who has proposed the theories and all. So we are going to that portion. So the first thing is who discovered the first cell. So in 1665, Robert Hooke, he was a British scientist. So I have named what are the main keywords that we should understand. So you can just write down these keywords so that you can easily study what is this and all about. So just look at these keywords just for a few seconds. So these are very important keywords that we should know for studying the discovery of cell and the cell theory. Okay. So in 1665, a British scientist named Robert Hooke had he has used a microscope, which is not that strong, but he has used the microscopes for discovering the cells in the cork. He has discovered the cells in the cork. It is not living. So it's a non-living cell. So in 1665, I'm repeating once, it's very important for a science student, whosoever studying zoology, whosoever study biology should know these things. It's a very fundamental and basic thing. That's why I'm re-repeating it. So in 1665, Robert Hooke, he's a British scientist. He's a British scientist. So he has used a microscope. It is not that much strong. This microscope which Robert Hooke has used is not that much strong. But he had discovered the first cell, which is from cork. Cork cell, it's non-living. So he is the first one who has discovered cell from the cork. So I'm repeating once more. In 1665, Robert Hooke, he is a British scientist who has used a microscope of that era to discover the cell in the cork. So I hope you understand. So we'll go to the next portion, that is Anton van Leeuwenhoek. I know it is a very puzzleful name. Anton van Leeuwenhoek. I will repeat it. Anton van Leeuwenhoek. He is the first one to discover the human cell. Don't mess it with what? Don't mess it. The first one is from the cork cell and it is non-living. And in case of Anton van Leeuwenhoek, he has discovered the animal cell. What is that animal cell? So in case this is a cell from cork and in this case this is a human cell. Human cell and the cell from cork. Just remember it. So next one is the fundamentals or it is the proportion of cell theory. So in 1800s, in 1800s, Theodor Schwann and Schleiden, both are the scientists. Theodor Schwann and Schleiden. Don't mess these scientists. Theodor Schwann and Schleiden has proposed the cell as the basic building blocks. Because I have already taught you that the cell is the basic building blocks. So he is the one, Theodor Schwann and Schleiden are the one who has proposed that theory. So in 1800s or 1800s, the Theodor Schwann and Schleiden are the one who has proposed that the cell is the basic building blocks. I hope you understand. I will repeat it once more because it's very important. So the next one is, it's this proportion or this scientist named Virchow. Virchow, he has proposed something very marvelous. He proposed that the living cell will only arise from another living cell. You can say that a cell can only be arise from a pre-existing cell. So we can say something that there was a cell here. So he has proposed that only from this cell a new daughter cell can be originated. He has proposed the multiplication of cell. So Virchow has explained or had made a statement that the living cells arise only from another living cell or are made from a pre-existing cell. They only arise from a lecture, or I will help you in understanding a cell theory. Cell theory. The cell theory or the idea of cell theory is proposed by three scientists. So the idea of a cell theory, the theory for a cell, is being proposed by three scientists. They are Theodor Schwann. I have already mentioned these names. Theodor Schwann, Schleiden and Virchow. So in the previous slide or in the previous note, I have told you the importance of Schwann, Schleiden and Virchow. So both these three scientists together made an idea for the cell theory. The cell theory. So it is a very, very, very important theory. It is very important. I can say that it is a VIP question. It is a very VIP question for 10th standard, +1, +2, 7th standard, 6th standard. In any of the standards, if you are studying the cell theory or the cell, you should know this point, that the idea of the proposition of cell theory, it's a very fundamental theory. Thus, cell theory is a very fundamental theory for studying cell. So, the idea of the cell theory is being proposed by three scientists. They are Theodor Schwann, Schleiden and Virchow. Three scientists. So there are mainly three statements in this theory. So there are mainly three statements for the theory. So I will describe each theory very clearly so that you will understand what is this theory. So I'm repeating that the cell theory is very important. So you should compulsory understand. I'm not saying you should by heart. You should understand what is this. So the first statement is all organisms are made up of one or more cells. So there are some problems with that. You should study this very thoroughly. You should understand it fully. So watch the video till end so that you will understand it completely. All organisms are made of one or more cells. So here I can give a classification. One or more cell. So one and more cells. So there is a classification. I will describe the classification of one and more cells. So the all organism that includes humans, animals, all the animal kingdom, the plant kingdoms, the viroids, viruses, bacteria, funguses, all have at least one, at least a single cell or very complex cells as well. So all organisms are made up of one or more cells. So you should at least study the words I'm underlining, because these are the words I'm underlining are the prime or the premium words in each statement. So you should at least by heart these words and you should understand what is this. So all organisms are made of, are being created with one or more cells. So this is the first statement which the Theodor Schwann, Skinner and Virchow has statemented. So we can go to the second statement. All the life functions of an organism occurs within a cell. So there is an environment of inside and outside the cell. So this is inside the cell and there are something outside the cell as well. So all the functions, life functions or the functions which is needed for an organism, the major function will be conducted inside the cell itself. It will be occurring inside the cell itself. So this is the second statement. So all the life functions of an organism occurs within. This within is the premium word here, within. Don't forget to write this word within or it will be a very big mistake. Within the cell. So all the life function of an organism occurs within the cells. So this is the second statement. So the third statement here is cells are derived from pre-existing cell. I have already told what Virchow has told. I have told you that Virchow is the one who has proposed this statement that the cell is deriving from pre-existing cells in the previous slide. So the same statements, cells are derived from pre-existing cell. So just have a look. Just at least you must by heart these words, these scientist names, the fundamental theory, statements. 3 statements are there. All organism, one or more cells, all of the life functions, organism within the very premium word, cells derived pre-existing. You should have a look. Just have a look. What is this? Just write this down. It's very important for you. These ideas are the VIP question as I said previously. Just have a look. Put it 2 to 3 seconds. So before I conclude my lecture, I will give you some bonus questions. I will give you some bonus questions as well. So you won't get confused with the questions which we asked in bonus questions. These questions I am giving for you. So you have already learned some cell theory, what is cell, who proposes cell and everything. So you can easily answer these questions if you thoroughly study the portions which I have given you. So first question is what is cell? So you know it is the basic fundamental unit of an organism. Who discovered cell? And you should provide the year because you should study the year You should study everything which I have given to you because it is the best capsule I can give to you. So who discovered the cell, and you should provide the year, you should study the year, don't forget to study the year. Who discovered the human cell? You know, Anton van Leeuwenhoek, you know, who discovered the human cell, who proposed the cell theory. What are the statements of cell theory? You should state the three statements which I have written here in this side. So you should write, or you should study, or you should understand those three statements, and at last you should study and you should name the fundamentals or the functions of cell, which I have provided in the first slide. Just go through these questions, and if you have any doubts regarding these questions, you can comment it in the comment box. I will give you the answer whenever I receive the notification. If you have any doubts regarding this portion up to the cell theory, I will give you an answer for sure. So go through these questions first. Taken the lecture for cell. So this is a part 1 on the cell. I have just mentioned what is the cell, what is the cell theory, who discovered the cell and everything in the lecture. So in the next topic or the next video, you will gonna understand the classifications of cell, and you will be detailedly gonna study the classification, that is the prokaryotic and eukaryotic cell, very detailedly, very precisely, very accurately. So before ending the lecture, I would like to thank each one of you for watching this video till the end. So I have to tell you one more thing. If you have forgot to like, share and subscribe to my channel and pressing the bell icon, do it now, because I am doing this video for you guys. So I hope you understand everything. Thank you so much for watching the video. We can see it in the next lecture.